What's going on, guys? LegitMHx here, back with another video. In today's video, I'll be talking to you guys about dynamic weather and environmental changes we could see and we should see within Spider-Man PS4. This is an interesting one that I've been wanting to make for a while now. Now, before I do get started, do remember to leave a like if you guys do enjoy, and if you enjoy the content that I upload, then do subscribe. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So Spider-Man PS4 is a very huge next generation game that you should all know by now. So it should feature very next gen and amazing features. The main feature that I'll be obviously discussing now is the dynamic weather and environmental changes. Now, for those that don't know what I mean by that, I'm talking about the weather changes that will occur during the game based on like seasons and actual temperature and actual weather and stuff like that. So for example, the basics would be a day and night cycle. So featuring a cycle where it goes from morning to midday to afternoon to evening to night to sunrise, and keep on going over that cycle. That is something that is crucial. That is something we should definitely have, and at the very least, we should at least have that feature. Now, we should be having that feature. That should be confirmed, as you guys do know from the clip that we did get from Spider-Man in the King ad by PlayStation. If you guys have not seen that video, I have made if you guys haven't seen that commercial, I have made a video on that commercial, so if you guys can go watch that. But basically, I talk about how Spider-Man's location is in a location where it's very cloudy and it's very different from the weather that we did get in the trailers. So that should be hinting at a dynamic weather change. And also the timing of the day is different, I believe. In the trailers, we do see a sort of afternoon to sunset type of settings, and in that clip we did say sort of a morning or maybe a midday sort of setting. So obviously that should hopefully confirm that there will be at the very least a day and night cycle that happens. Now, whether this is automatic and happens dynamically, that's another question, but hopefully it's not something that's manual or something that's sort of set. So if you guys do know, some games like say Infamous, I use this a lot, but Infamous featured one where you could change the time of day, but it doesn't dynamically change, so you can set it to a certain time and that's what you will be playing on, but it won't change to the next one in order. Or something like GTA, where it does change, and it does have somewhat of dynamic weather changes. You'll get some rain at sometimes, you'll get some clouds at sometimes, and GTA is a good example of a base game with a good amount of dynamic weather and environmental changes. Now, besides Spider-Man PS4 having that day and night cycle, it should also have those weather and like weather changes within the actual environment. So we should be getting rain, snow, hail, hot days, and this should be affecting the gameplay. That would be a cool way to intertwine the weather and the actual gameplay experience. So say it's snowing and you are running. Maybe you could slip. Maybe you could, when you're web swinging, you swing onto snow and it's really loose, and then you fall off your web. Or maybe it's very hot and you get tired and you lose stamina or something like that really easily. Or maybe it's raining and you can't travel as fast as normal. Or maybe it's hailing and you're getting hurt as you're running or swinging through the cities of New York. Something like that, where the actual changes in weather actually affect how the game plays. So basically, I'm pretty sure in GTA, when it does rain, I believe it does get harder to drive. I'm not sure on that. If you guys do know about that, you can confirm that in the comments. But something like that, affecting the gameplay, the weather changing and affecting the gameplay as it goes along. Now, again, also having that feature where you can tweak the weather would also be nice, but also having that dynamic automatic change is sort of necessary along with the manual change. So maybe if it's like, oh, I want some snow now, I want to play in some snow, but the game hasn't been using the RNG or whatever it's going to be using to determine the weather. It's not been giving me snow, so I'm going to just trigger the snow. That would be a cool addition, and hopefully one that should go alongside the automatic dynamic changes. Now, also what it could do is have the weather corresponding to the actual weather within the location. Now this is going a bit too far-fetched, maybe it's asking too much, but this would be really next gen. Now I know it's current gen, guys, I'll just call it current gen, but this would be really amazing. I mean, having the weather of the video game match the actual weather of the actual city in real life, that would be something pretty cool. I mean, you never know, you could have like amazing weather thing, and I don't know how they would do it. They could possibly use something simple to make it do it. I mean, I'm not a developer, but they could make it simple and just have like maybe some weather detection where it will update with the internet and check what the weather is. Something like that, you know, it'd be cool to have the weather correspond to it, so it's like maybe you hear the news, oh, it's major rains, major snow in New York, and then you go and it's like, oh, I want to experience that, but I'm in Australia, so what do? Go on Spider-Man PS4, and there you go, you're in the weather of New York. I don't know, that's just a cool idea I thought of. I don't think it's gonna be happening. If it does happen, then that's just next level. That's just amazing. That's like PS5 level right there. We don't need that just yet, but if you do add Insomniac, that would be amazing. Now moving on, I will be talking about environmental changes. This is a big one that I also want to talk about. I think I did talk about this a bit in my importance of realism in Spider-Man PS4 video. This is pretty much showing sort of like the changes in the environment. Now, what I mean by this is the actual changes in the actual world of the game as the game progresses, or from different things. So, obviously, destructible environments. This is what we need. We need destructible environments. We need to break walls of buildings. We need maybe smaller buildings collapsing. Not big buildings, because that'd be a bit too much probably. It's not a war game. It is a story game. But stuff like being able to destroy actual stuff, and when you web swing onto something, you might leave your web hanging there, or when, you know, just like something like getting knocked into the side of a wall, you make an actual like dent in the wall, or maybe you actually like fall on top of a car, you make a dent in the car. Stuff like that, where actually what you're doing in the world actually affects the world, and in some way actually maybe makes it harder. Maybe as you're progressing through the story, maybe there's some destruction or something that happens within the story that does a lot of damage to the city. Then maybe the entire gameplay changes, and how the difficulty of the entire game changes, because it's so much harder to web swing and move around and maneuver and everything like that. Having those environmental changes will allow for a very smooth and exciting and unusual but unique gameplay experience. Now, how Insomniac could do this is just have like Spider-Man sort of like his presence affect where he's actually fighting. So for example, if he is fighting within a compound, a building, and inside the building, maybe they could have like, okay, so from the story, say there's a building and Spider-Man knows there's a bunch of people in there that he needs to kill, I mean injure. So he goes into the building and then he takes it down, and in the process of fighting the bad guys, he ends up the building ends up collapsing. Possibly at that moment in the story, that building is no longer existent. So everything after that part in the story, you won't find that building in that world anymore. You won't find it in the open world anymore. Stuff like that could be amazing. And the use of maybe like a really big building within New York, and like maybe having an effect on that will last throughout the actual story, and that would change and something like that. I'm just giving some ideas. I'm not saying anything finalized or something that they need to do this. Just having an environment within the game, and environment where the world changes as Spider-Man does his thing within the world. Now obviously there's going to be some something in the world that's going to be catastrophic in terms of damage probably. So I mean, like, there's going to be a really bad villain. So we need to see some damage, and we need to see the effects within the world. I don't want to see a bland world where nothing changes within the story. It's like, why am I even saving this world? It's not even in danger. It's not even getting destroyed. So we need to see that. We need to see, as maybe the story goes along, we see more damaged and abandoned cars, maybe more broken cars on the streets, maybe explosions that have resulted in burnt rocks, I don't know, stuff like that. But like, basically we need to see the changes within the environment. So that's it for the video, guys. I know this one was sort of impromptu, I didn't do anything on, I mean I did, but usually when I do make a video, I write what I want to talk about. This one I just pretty much knew I wanted to talk about the weather and the environment. So this video was a sort of on the spot impromptu video, but I did hopefully convey the message that I wanted to, of saying that we do need weather changes, environmental changes, and why and how we are getting them. The day and night cycle, the weather environmental changes within like snow, rain, hail, all that hot temperature, everything like that, and then the environmental changes of destructible environment, over the time changing of the environment with the destruction to the open world, and maybe even the opposite of destruction, maybe even the fixing. Maybe you are entered into the world when it's in destruction, and as you progress through the story, you see it being fixed, maybe something like that. Maybe you have the mission of fixing the world. Something like that could be cool. Using the open world with the story will result in an amazing game. So if you guys did enjoy this video, now do leave a comment down below what you guys think on weather and environmental changes, and how you exactly want, or what you would also, alongside with my ideas, what you would also alongside would want in regards to the weather and environmental changes. I would love to hear your guys' ideas, and if it is something amazing, I might even feature you guys on the channel and talk about it if it is something big. But that's pretty much all I can think of in terms of weather and environmental changes. And yeah, so if you guys did enjoy it, do leave a like and subscribe if you guys like my content. And this was once again LegitMHx signing out.